What a great day today is. Happy Valentine, honey.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to
Oh,
Madame.
thank you so much.
You are
Oh
looking
wow.
good.
Thank you. What a great day today is. You too. You look so good too.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. This is Late Love Sparkle with them Caddies, and today is so special. We're gonna talk about real issues. We always talk about real issues, but what we're gonna talk about today is affecting everyone, like everyone, and it's gonna be amazing because we have a beautiful couple that will come join us very soon. Um, I want them to say the name. You know, I always make mistake. I forgot to ask Clara how to pronounce their name, Mr. and Mrs. Mosquire. I'm gonna ask them to pronounce it. I don't want to mess it up. But this is a beautiful couple, an entrepreneur couple. Um, you guys, if you've seen Clara and her husband, I know you've learned a lot from them. So many people have been telling me, why can't you invite Clara and her husband? That's a beautiful couple. We want to learn from them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they are ready, guys, and they'll be joining us very soon, as in very soon. So it's going to be amazing. Today's topic is stability. Like, what can keep couples or families together during tough times, especially now we are going through pandemic and all this kind of craziness going on. What keeps family? It's a very good topic and has a lot of points on it.
Yeah, very interesting topic because concerning what is happening right now with the pandemic and all that, people are going through a lot of things. Like couples are, people are getting divorced because of stress and all that. So our couple, I'm sure they are ready to join us. Let's get them on the show.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. You guys are looking so beautiful. You're looking
very
so nice.
You
guys look great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Before we start, please, I always make a mistake. My husband even told me, did you ask how to pronounce the name?
You guys did great. The last name is Massaquoi.
Okay.
Massaquoi. Massaquoi.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. We were getting scared. We're like, we don't want to mess up the name.
You guys did great. Yeah,
you did great.
That's awesome. You guys look beautiful and handsome. You know.
Thank you. So as you guys.
Thank you.
For everybody that don't know, this beautiful couple, this is, like I said, they are children of God. They are very hooked up with Jesus, okay? And they are also entrepreneurs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Some months ago, if people saw, we put the shampoo, that the Clara Organ shampoo.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the couple behind the shampoo, behind the mud mask. Is it mud mask? Is it Dead Sea mud mask?
Yes.
It's great. It smells good. It will do wonders for your face. Right, Clara?
Yes.
And your shampoo is amazing. So we can't stop using your shampoo. It's like we can't use any other shampoo.
Exactly.
It's a lot for the price, though.
Wow.
I'm not saying to change the price.
You guys are amazing. We appreciate you for supporting us, and we can't just thank you enough. You know, you guys keep buying from us, supporting us. We just appreciate you from the bottom of our heart.
Before we get to the topic of the day, I want to ask you guys just a simple question. You guys seem to be very busy with life. You have a lot of things going on around. How do you keep up, like spicing up your marriage and family all together, beside being busy the way you guys are?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, my wife always say that I'm the family comedian. You know, so I'm always finding ways to crack my wife up. You
Mhm.
know, like the little things, other things that we do, little things like home decoration or chores, things that my wife would do. I make it my business to want to get interested in it. You know, even things that you would say, hey, it's not kind of like traditional role. You
Mhm.
know, I try to show interest and vice versa, you know, to my wife. So those little things you do, even things like decorating home, you know, it sparks. Those are things that add little flavors to the relationship, right? And you get excited if you have to learn new things or find that there's a new creative kind of edge, the novelty of it, and knowing that you're doing it in conjunction. And one rule in our house that's very, very important has to do with egos. There is no egos. Even if you are sort of like the resident expert in your
Mhm.
respective domain, that if I ask you for a comment or suggestion, if you say something at the end of the day, even if I'm kind of wrong, we even have this thing, what we call resolution at the end of the day, that we have to reassess everything if we ever had like an argument or squabble. Because we hear people say, oh, you guys ever argue? Yes, we do argue. If you don't argue, that means the relationship is not real.
That's
We
true.
don't, we don't have like any kind of egos. If I do some things, and my wife, I mean, my personality, I would say I'm sort of like male dominant, right? But at the same time, with my love for God and Jesus, I always want to know that God is bigger than me. And I don't ever want to go to bed, or my wife should go to bed with having a heavy heart, that you can be sort of like contrite, you know, and to have that resolution. Say, honey, I think that decision made, I think you were kind of right, you know, and that's what, there's no egos, you know, love for God and no ego. And then also answering your questions, your question, always try to find a little things, laughter, little chores, little new things. Get yourself involved. You know, like not to lallygag too long. The last thing I want to say, being that I grew up in Africa. My wife grew up in Africa. Where
Mhm.
you see around us, our parents, right? The
Mhm.
domineering role you see in Africa, sort of like servile or servient with the culture, where the man comes home, oh, what's my food? You know, he works all day, even the woman's working too. You know, doesn't have to be only the office work, but taking care of the entire household. That's a lot of work. But the man, he comes to work, he says, oh, what's my food? Put the fufu on the table or the rice or whatever stew. He eats and he just expects the woman to do like kind of, you know, everything, you know. But, you know, in America, sort of kind of understand that things are kind of different. You
Mhm.
know, at times you can also reverse the role. Like I love cooking it for my wife and my family. You know,
Exactly.
so these little things kind of like bring spark to your marriage, you know, or any relationship, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
good.
Amazing,
Wow. That's
amazing.
really good.
That's awesome.
Very awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on what like he said about, you know, growing up in home where like back home everybody just thought a wife has to do the cooking, the cleaning, and you know, doing all the chores in the house. But when even here, it doesn't matter Africa here, marriage is a partnership. That's what I call it. Teamwork. Sometimes I can be busy with the kids or meetings, and my husband's loves to cook. So he'll be like, honey, what you wanna eat? I'm like, whoa.
And my wife loves eating. Yeah, she loves eating.
He loves to cook and he loves to clean. I love to clean too. So one thing I just don't like, I don't like him to wash dishes. That's so funny to me. I'm like, no, don't touch my dishes. I'm good.
Oh, that's great. He just doesn't like doing dishes.
I can do anything else. I can cook. I can do it, but you gotta help me with cleaning the dishes and putting everything back in order.
I don't like it. I'm just like, no, don't touch my dishes. I got it.
That's really good.
That's really good. So somebody asked a question that they have a situation, right? So both of them, the wife and the husband, they work and they have two kids. The kids are usually in daycare. So now daycare is closed and both of them are not going to work. They are home. So her concern is there hasn't been peace in their home. It's always fighting between the wife and the husband. She said it started from just, you left the socks here, you left this here, because they're never home, both of them. So what happens is the wife, I think, works in the night, the husband works day shift. So when he comes back from work, when she comes back from work, the kids are already at daycare. The husband has already taken them to daycare, and just rotating like that. So she doesn't have time to stay with the kids. But now it's like it's too much on both of them. There's children making noise, and there's both of them getting on each other because I would say their relationship is maybe on weekends. They see each other more on weekends, but from Monday through Friday, they are out, both of them. So, like, how can you advise that couple that going through that? Because she said, it's hell in my house. I don't recognize the man I married. Probably doesn't recognize the woman he married, because with this COVID, we are just home and it's just too much.
One thing I'll say is communication and compromising. Sometimes we get so much in ourselves, or it's just about me. But then you forgetting that you married someone, and that person has is ambitious, or they have career and everything that you found them when you married them. So it's all about compromising and talking. If they work, both of them are working, hey, they can work out on the schedule. Okay, I'll be at work and you're gonna pick up the kids and we're gonna do this. I mean, set up time. What works for you? If your husband is working at night and you also working at night, one of them is not gonna give up their career. Probably they're not even willing to do so. But what I can advise from my point of view, if they can sit down and talk, what will work for them? If somebody gonna, like they say, they take the kids out and somebody picks them up, and what time do they have, like during the week? Do they have any time, or they're all just out all day?
No, they're out. So the question is, right now they are both in the house because they're not going to work. So it's like they don't see each other before COVID.
Oh.
Now with the COVID around, they are seeing each other more, and that's putting a problem with all of them.
Oh, okay.
They're spending too much time together now.
They're together now. The children, the parents.
Oh, so they're spending so much time together, and
and now it's problems. Yeah.
Okay, let me give a perspective. I'm based is in New York prior to getting married. My wife was in North Carolina, right? We got married in North Carolina, and I made a commute every week. Every week, back and forth, to New York, North Carolina, and where I never used to see my kids often, with the schedule of work. I'll see my kids 3 days in North Carolina, get on a plane, a trek, go back to New York, work in New York 2 days. On the third day, come back to North Carolina. It was very stressful, but the most important thing, and this is very, very important for even couple who are not married, who's going into marriage, right? Know that when you get into marriage, very, very important, when you make those vows, right? First of all, you marry somebody. First of all, I always tell people, all my relatives and friends who I give whatever counsel from my experience, that marriage is not the same as dating. You can date somebody prior, you can go visit, a few days, most a week. But when you're married, first of all, did you really know that person? When I was dating my wife, I said, hey, the first thing I wanted to know when I started visiting, I wanted to see how she reacted to kind of space, because it's very important, right? When you're dating somebody who's different, when you're married to somebody, the aspect of space. Some people you could date them, but when you start living together, a woman say, hey, I don't want you using my sink, or you putting too much hair in my sink, right? So when you're not together, it's different. When you're in the same space, now when you're seeing everybody. So first of all, people who are not even married going to marry, who are dating, note that when you come into marriage, it's totally different ball game.
Yeah.
It's not about what you like, it's about compromising.
That's
It's
true.
pet peeves, right? When you say, "Oh, you get on my nerve, I'm seeing too much," that means that the initial preliminary, right? You didn't subtract that equation to know that, hey, what are my tendencies with the aspect of space? So going back to the situation with New York when we got married, now COVID came. From March of last year, I stopped going back to New York. I got stuck in North Carolina because of COVID. Now with my career, I can work remotely. Now that I was in a household 24/7 with my wife, and we had two young kids, very, very, well, two young kids, and one who was now a teenager. You know, so imagine two babies, and a 12-year-old, 11 was going to 12-year-old, right? And know how active that was. And another thing, when you're working from home, you don't do a lot of work. And then my work coordinating with family, with kids, with businesses.
Exactly.
Now that things that we knew that were going to come about with the level of stress, you know, you working, now kids jumping on you, is no matter of whether or not you go to daycare or not, now that you're home. And now that you all together, even the kids are encroaching into your space, you on your Zoom doing live or your meeting, kids jumping here and there, kids are kind of loud, you get into oh, be quiet and all those things. Note that marriage, very important. Marriage is not sort of like a sprint. It is a marathon, you know.
Yeah.
That's
For,
true.
for that couple, what I would urge them to do is that rewind and go back to what got you guys together in the very first place, right?
Exactly.
That's our love for each other. And before you got married, you knew that I wanted to marry this woman, I wanted to marry this man, and you went into that thing feeling so hyped that you respect your vows. And that vows means that through thickness, through thickness, through thin, whether or not through sickness, sickness and health. That sickness and health doesn't also always have to be the physical ailment. It could be changed in condition. Note that we're going through that crisis. Today is COVID, tomorrow could be worse. So now it has to come to the time of compromising, right? All you have to do, just go back to the drawing board, know that what initiated that spark that you felt that you could live with this woman forever. What if that condition was permanent, right? Like an ailment or something where all temporary, where you are going through some health crisis that you can't walk, paraplegic, paraplegic. You have to learn to stay the course because that's what marriage is all about. You sign up for those vows, note that condition, and the thing that you look at, you have family together, create a schedule, and come to the point of compromise. Most of the time, if you don't plan, even in terms of chaos, you can always plan. Come back to the drawing board and watch you always move you as a couple. Always go back to why you got into marriage. Note that marriage is not to say, oh, I'm dating this girl or this guy. It can work for 2 years or 3 years. Marriage is a thing. When you get into marriage, make sure that you do your partner's space, the pet peeves. So when you're together, all those added stresses, you're going through that marathon is not a sprint. Marathon is like it could be up and down, the vicissitudes, like night and day, storm today, it could be nice weather in the tomorrow. Have that level of understanding, know why you got into marriage, and create some kind of schedule where, as my wife said, selflessness. Whatever gets on your nerve, whether or not it's a stress kids, create some form of schedule. Okay, honey, when you come out, now I'm going to help you to take turns. And my wife, I've been home. I'm doing the babysitting with her. I'm doing the cooking. It's not a matter of fact to say, I'm going to do this or you do this. I have surrendered my role that, honey, I'm here as much as my schedule is hectic with the work. When you have to step out, I can look after the kids, and I have to understand and accept the fact that as much as they're going to be noisy and annoying, I'm going to take on that role because I know we're going through this crisis of COVID and it's temporary. And I'm with you in the long haul because marriage is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So much wisdom. Yes.
You
mentioned something that they argue about, like socks, or you leave something here. That's a minor. I always tell people, your husband leave socks here or pants, just pick it up. Like, take anything away from you. That is minor. My husband's like, you leave pants here? I'm like, whoa, this is nothing. Like, I got this. This man does more than that.
Exactly.
He's a provider. He does more than, I can't, like, those are the things that I'm willing to do just to show him, like, I'm thankful. Like there's no other way to pay you back, but the little things like this, I'm willing.
Always go back to that spark. You know, people try to always forget the spark that got you all together, that kind of like started. It only takes one spark, and that spark that got that level of excitement to the point that you got to say, oh, I want to marry this woman, I want to marry this a man. And in marriage, always carry that anchor. Never lose sight of why, even when things are changing, right? So marriage is a blessed union with God Almighty. And when you marry, you get married and say, oh, shoot, I'm regretting this. Then you weren't supposed to marry in the first place. But when you get married, know that it's a vow with God Almighty. It's not child's play. Respect the institution of marriage and the level of sacrifices that come into marriage. And your wife should be your better half. Like even me, my tendencies of leaving stuff here, or I'm going to go in the bathroom and leave this down. My wife picks up after me and vice versa. You know, so I'm imperfect. She's imperfect. I studied my pet peeve before. I studied her with the level of space, what she likes, what she doesn't like. And take those things into marriage, but always go back. But with the current crisis, let them go back and be very selfless. It's very easy. You're in a house together 24/7. You can always make a schedule. Make a schedule of communication. Make a schedule when you're doing imagine if it were like your job, right? And there was chaos in the office. Your manager going to tell you guys, you got to fix this. What are you going to do? You're going to come down and fix that, make a schedule, and come to a compromise. Say, okay, you know what? We have this crisis. I can take 6 hours of this chore or of this task. You take the rest and you work towards it. If it's work, you making progress. If not, come back to the drawing board and make it happy. Note that we're going through COVID and this crisis. Things are going to be stressful with job, with income, with resources. Again, it's a long marathon, but we all are going to be okay at the end of the day because God is faithful and He's going to see us through. Just like the children of Israel. You remember when the angel of death came over Egypt and they're going through that plague, and those who remain faithful and was called by the blood of the Lamb. The same attitude we have to take into our marriages with this current crisis. God is always faithful. His word is always faithful. And we can take heed and learn from things of the past because those things serve as a reminder to kind of give us encouragement when we're facing similar crisis.
Amen. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. The other thing that is affecting couples during this time is the financial pressure. Find that somebody doesn't have a job. Maybe both couples, both husband and wife, they lost their jobs, and then they start having issues because of the bills and all that. So that is really affecting financial stress. Thank you. That is really affecting their marriage. So what would you tell somebody who's going through that?
Okay, honey, you want to start? Or you want me to?
Go start.
Okay, so in America, like I always say, like perspective, right? Perspective are kind of different, And one thing I want to also say that I'm going to expound on. You hear over the news, like, there's this African couple, in the state who the woman now, she went to nursing school. She got a job. Now she's making more money than the man. And then she starts disrespecting the man, right? Perspective, right? Back when in Africa, where traditionally the man is always the breadwinner. He goes, he works, he provides for the family, and the woman is the homemaker taking care of the kids.
All right.
We come to America, like I've always said, going into marriage, to death do us part. Everything we shouldn't. So marriage, when you go into marriage, always, that's why sometimes traditionally some things we don't do. Like in America, people go through marriage counseling before they get married, right? They go through counseling. You see, traditionally, a lot of things that we always disavow and say, oh, those things, that's a quote unquote white people thing. That is not for us, but at times, you should marry for the right reason. And sometimes traditionally, we do get married through like connection of family connections, but that's why it's important to date and to understand like your partner. But in answering your question with finances, right? In America, unlike Africa, one of the leading causes of divorce has to do with the finances, right? At the very top.
Yeah,
adultery second, and irreconcilable differences and other things, right? So in America, you got to pay bills. You got to pay your bills. You don't pay bills, you get stressed out. When you lose your job, those things, your water bill, your light bill, your rent, or your mortgage, right? Then we have family to support back home with the culture, right? The kinship system, right? So the thing to always let a couple know again that you're into marriage, You got into marriage knowing to death do you part, that there could be sickness, sickness and health can be compromised. There could be temporary loss of job and all those things, right? So the mindset is look at the temporary setback and knowing that it's not something that is permanent, right? And know that when you go into marriage, these things are going to happen. Like the situation I said earlier, a guy who was supporting his wife to go through nursing school, right? Now that even it doesn't have to be a crisis of losing a job, like current situation with the COVID situation, right? It could be in normal times, the woman had ascended herself, got it like in after a year, like all those stories, some even people got killed. Where the guy felt that, us, and it happened also at least like 3 different cases, right? Where the guy felt that he supported a woman through like a nursing school. She got her degree, she's making more money. Then now she started being disrespectful, or disrespecting the man. Those changes of circumstances should not change you as the person.
That's
Always be grounded that if you don't have other things for us as couples, right, that we also have to learn, right? That we have to learn to save. Even if you save me $5, right? $10, $20, we should get into the aspect of saving. We should start educating ourselves, even things like life insurance, right? Things that we don't talk about, but now we have to put into the equation. And that's why that's so important. You'll be amazed that the aspect of $17 for younger people who are healthy can qualify you for like a term life insurance, right? That can cover your mortgage. Sometimes our jobs will offer some kind of insurance for $10 a month. That if you disability insurance, does your job have aspect of disability insurance where something happens to you on the job that it'll be able to supplicate you for a few months? Those things that when you do things preemptively, have this conversation, that you'll be prepared for the storm. Most of the time we're hit when we're not prepared for the storm. Or if you don't plan when something happens, then it's like an emergency situation where things become chaotic and you have to figure things out, right? But for marriage couple, things we always do preemptively and preventively, we always want to have a plan. And I always say, well, honey, let's operate as if it's worst case scenario. That's been my modus operandi, right? Plan as if it's like a rainy day, right? So at the end of the day, when there's chaos, we go back to our plan. But in answering your question, directly, there's also creative ways that you can try to like get a new career. Have that fortitude to want to go out and inquire on doing many kind of jobs. If you're a spouse, if you see your wife or your husband have lost a job, don't let that thing get to you now all of a sudden. When you weren't the dominant one paying the bills and you got to pay the bills now. Remember, going back to that, my wife, I sent her to nursing school and now she got that job. Now her attitude start changing because now the guy say, hey, honey, or vice versa, or the woman supported her husband to nursing school in America, right? Don't think now that you're making more money, now that you have to take on a little responsibility or can't take on that responsibility. Marriage is not competition. Marriage that if my wife or my husband is kind of down and need to be lifted, let me show you back the reason why I got married to you. Why when I was courting you, when I went to your father, I talked all this big talk and I'm going to buy 20 cows and give you 3 cars to build that. Talking all this big talk, right? Now I'm your and step up and now just live exactly why you saw that spark in that woman. You were calling all her uncle, her brothers, her dad talking all that big guy talk. Now step into the shoes and those rules, and the woman vice versa. Why you felt that this guy was the king of your world, was like going to be your better half. Always help your couple through it. In America, well, you get stimulus once in a blue moon, it's not kind of guaranteed, but go through, even if it's so tough, go through the motion of you taking that extra responsibility of helping your spouse to find work through all the online resources or whatever that is out there. Even if they find temporary work, do not be rate down to say, you have a $7 an hour job. For 2 months, that only fast food job that you have now, then you call it for look at this stupid man. McDonald's, all that chicks. No. My dad always told me that, son, there is what they call dignity in labor. Very, very important. And in America, one or the other, you're going to find some kind of job. It's just a matter of fact, what job we elect to kind of take. If it's not your career job, if you deviate away from it, but always be pride in your household. What happened in your household? Nobody have to know how you're paying your bills.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, always encourage your spouse, take on that extra responsibility, and don't feel that, oh, I'm doing this now. Then you start catching feeling and start getting angry. That's not what marriage was all about in the first place. Go back to the drawing board with what created that spark in you. And now try to say, hey, let me prove to you my worth. Now that you're down, that I can pick you up and we stay the course. Remember, there's perseverance. You ask God for perseverance to persevere through the storm. You ask God for stamina to endure and be strong to stand. So those things should help you in your prayers, perseverance and stamina to have you to endure the storm.
Wow. Yes. That's really good.
Yes, very true. So, but my husband asked me a question. That was around March. That was around March when COVID just hit. He's like, so I'm gonna be home for 3 months. What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do with me? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, we're gonna be home for 3 months. I'll be here. Like, I didn't expect that question, and I started laughing because so many couples are going through tough time. Like, especially that thing. I remember when we got married, my husband said, we're not taking no job going in the night. Whereby one of us go in the night, the other one takes care of the kids, and then we don't see each other. We just see each other maybe on weekends. Because, like, going back to the story that I shared with you guys of that couple, that's the problem they're having. It's like their relationship, it's more on just paying bills. It's all about paying bills. And I like the way, Sarah, the way you said, Mr. Masquire, that we gotta do what we gotta do as a couple, right? Lift your friend. If your friend is down, lift them up. So if we don't see each other, and if our relationship is not really there, lifting each other, I don't even know what my husband thinks anymore. I mean, I want to know what he thinks, but they're just those common grounds that we come to. Like, when I do this, my husband will react this way. My wife will react this way. But living like the way one works in the night, the other one works during the day, and children in the middle, like, it's just a mess. And I like the way you said it. Just find any job that you can find, at least families together, especially now. There are online jobs. There are some businesses that can be done. And people are making money online. Like, there's just so many things that can be done that can make, even if a couple is not working, but they can have an income at least.
Yeah, that's true.
One thing that sometimes people ask me, oh, I wanna do this. I wanna start business. I wanna do this. Sometimes we have this talent that we do, and we don't even realize that we can get paid for it. There are people who you can cook. Why can't you take that talent and cook for people and get paid? We can clean. Why can't you take that talent, clean, make money? There's certain time that, especially when you said people lose their jobs and, now they're scarce in the house and they're arguing. Like my husband said, there's a lot of temporary jobs here. You can, uplift your spouse. Let's take this. This is temporary. Meanwhile, you're looking for something better. So that's not going to be your permanent situation. At least in the meantime, you're doing something. People who get into that trouble is like, you don't have a job, and then you're sitting home 24 hours doing nothing. And I see a lot of couples who complain about their spouse doing video games. You don't have a job, and now you're sitting down playing video games. I mean, that just brings more problems to your home. If your spouse is trying, you guys both pushing each other, let's try this, let's do this. In the meantime, better will come, instead of just relaxing and be like getting frustrated. Because when financially people are struggling, now it's more problems come on. It's like, okay, you can do this, you can provide, you can do this. Now it's like more arguments start coming on, and you're creating unnecessary problems for your marriage.
Yeah, we have a question from Jessica. I don't know if you can say it. She's saying, what about these who feel like women should not work?
Okay, like I said, America is kind of different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always look at perspective, right? Growing up in Africa, where, like we said, the man was the domineering kind of like provider of the home, where the woman could work, like modern woman in Africa, they could work in the rural village setting. Even the woman staying home, she was working, right? Woman's always, well, let's know that woman's always working, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's not always disavow that woman don't work. If you have children, that is a lot of work,
A lot of
And
work.
I have chat with a lot of my brothers, right?
Mhm.
What is, oh man, that woman, she doesn't even want to work, man. Man, like I've been paying the bills, paying the mortgage, and she's staying home. She don't want to find work. I'm like, dude, your wife is home with the kids. You know, uh, First of all, she's home with the kids. You're saving money in daycare. In America, daycare is expensive.
Oh yeah.
If you just want to give it a trial, stay home for a day while you're working. Try to take care of the kids, and you get that real awakening. So, women do work with respect to all mothers out there who are home taking care of their children. It's a lot of work. And men, let us realize that if you have children and your wife is taking care of their kids, you better uplift that woman and thank her, right? Because it's a lot of work it endures, right?
That's
But on the other hand, like my wife said, some people sit home. You have some people who are self-motivated, and you have people who are lazy, right? Some people don't like to work. Even some men don't like to work.
Mm-hmm.
In some African cultures, now you have in different states where the degradation of family values now it's like scarcity of men. Now you have women who are competing and say, oh, I'm going to pay his phone bill. I'm going to pay his rent, right? And now the men are not working. Now they feel self-entitled as if they're God's gift to women, right? Like I always said, folks, man, this is serious business, When it gets back to relationship and we enter the sanctity of marriage, right? Even before marriage, because not everybody's married who's listening, right? Some people are in relationship, right?
Mhm.
Always know that on the biggest stage for God Almighty in that business. And one thing I always want to tell people, when you get into marriage, the word of God does not lie. Everything that God says and states in that good book, the Bible, you can come with zero into your marriage financially. When you are honest and faithful to God, 100%, you will always have roof over your head. You always have food to eat.
Into
And you
that.
don't have any shortage. If you go to God in prayers honestly and you cry to Him, right? We are believers of that covenant with God Almighty into marriage. Take that same level of attitude, and it's very infectious, right? It reverberates. Take that mindset, that responsibility, knowing that I'm dealing with God now. I'm not dealing with the laws of men, right? And take that same attitude, and it will be infectious in everything that you kind of do. But again, there is dignity in labor, and for you to kind of work and not to be kind of lazy. Look at our parents who raised us in Africa, right? They worked. The women worked the market, even in the rural areas. Our parents were hard worker. When I came in America, I came as a result of the civil conflict that came to my country. My parents were very affluent people. They had their own businesses and were very successful. They came to America. What level of positive impression? I would say, guys, let's go back to the drawing board and just see what our fathers and our mothers did. Not because we're in America, now we get all comfortable and complacent and think that things are kind of different. Even now you have in homes, in household, where now the woman now, she becomes more Americanized, as we would say. And now some traditional roles, how we're grown up or we're brought up, now they start neglecting like their roles, right? I became independent in America. When I started before I got married, I was not, I did was into other data, other race, etc. But I saw how my mother took care of my father at home and how hard my father kind of worked. And when I met my wife and married my wife, I saw she still had that traditional upbringing. And I also, oh man, you remind me so much of my, of my mother, or of that upbringing as Africans, right? Let us not neglect our roots. Look at how the Indians do it, or the cultures. Look at how the Chinese. Those are people who are in America, but they have not neglected their roots and they follow their tradition to the T. So aspect of working. Let's look at how our father and our mother work. In Africa, you don't see a lot of lazy people. It's very rare, right? Even in rural settings, people are working the farm. Women are putting that fire, that wood on the head,
Yes.
walking miles to go get water.
Mm.
Men are hunting here and there and doing things to provide for the family. So we come to America, let us not get so complacent and so comfortable and say we don't want to kind of work. But the first thing I started to say is that let us not forget that women who stay home with our children don't think that they're not working. But we shouldn't be lazy. Let us go back to our culture, to our culture and our pride. And then the dignity in labor. Don't sit down and go watch, a YouTube channel and don't kind of want to work. If you can find a job kind of out there, the dignity, in the labor, and all those things make the relationship more exciting, right? When you see your couple fighting and trying hard, that's something that motivates me. When I see how much my wife puts 100% in everything, I want to come and do 300% because I know she's making that effort.
That's good. That's good.
That's true.
She added something on there again. She said, on the other hand, how do you feel like stay-at-home fathers? Why is there stigma of men staying at home taking care of his children, of his children?
Well, men, you have your pride. Men have their pride. Good men, responsible men has their pride, where they don't want to stay home and babysit or whatever, because as the Bible said, the man is the head of the home. It's not because the woman is a slave, but the man is a provider. And if they're not working, some of them feel very low. They feel like, oh, I'm the man. I should be doing this. Even if staying home doesn't necessarily feel like, oh, I'm not working, like my husband said. You can work from online work. So if a man is staying home and taking care of the kids, that's part of their job. This is not a woman's job to take care of the kids.
That's true.
We can both take care of our kids. These are our kids. Most of the time, if I have a meeting, my husband takes on that role. He will take care of the kids. He will cook for them. He will clean, and that's just what keeps us going. We don't have a role here.
Wow.
We don't have a role. I respect my husband as the man, head of the house, and he gives me that same respect. He knows that this is my queen, this is my wife. We don't have a role, or you're supposed to clean it, or you're supposed to cook it, or that's the woman's job. No. Marriage, we don't have no roles here. As far as
what is your take on 50-50? What's your take on that?
We don't believe in 50-50. Marriage is 100-100.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
really
one.
good.
That 50-50, oh my gosh.
No 50-50 over here. You have to put in your all. You don't have to leave any other side for your partner. No.
Yeah.
Do what you can. You don't, I'm going to clean halfway here. My partner will come and finish. Why can't you just do the whole thing? You're there. Finish it.
Yeah, there should be no like egos, like I said, firstly, there should be no like egos into like marriage and relationship. Marriage is a beautiful thing. And when marriage is working, and it's just simple things, just level of compromise, like when you marry, like your partner's supposed to be your better half, which is an extension of you, things that you're so uncomfortable with doing or was afraid to do. Try to embrace it, and you meet each other in kind of like the middle. And at times you would disavow or some traditional roles where like, the guy comes in Africa and say, oh yeah, honey, what's the food? He eats, he forgot that he just took care of like 9 kids. You cooked a big pot of fufu, he eats everything and then he just threw a plate on the table and he go out, go hang with his friends, or go to sleep. In America, things are kind of different because in America, aspect of just like paying bills is different like Africa, right? You got loads of bills. And in America, you don't pay a bill, they're going to kick you out or cut your light or cut your TV or whatever. Things are kind of different with how we adapt in America, So that's like that kind of fun balance where it's not to say, oh yeah, this one role you got to play, like my wife said. Everything is do it. If it's there, you do it or I do it, but it has to be done and we do it and we enjoy kind of, doing it.
Wow. That's really good.
That's good. Yes. Doreen says communicate in healthy ways, being able to overcome the challenges in the relationship. Spending time together connects to your partner. Fight for your relationship. Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
That's very true. So she mentions spending time spending time together connects to your partner. Fight for your relationship. So like this period, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would say I thank God. Please, people watching, don't take it wrong, right? I would say I thank God for Corona somehow, because a lot of relationships are working so well. A lot of marriages are working so well. People are privileged to have their husbands home, their wives home. At the same time, it's a mess out there. Some people are like, oh my gosh, I get to see her every day. I get to see him every day. But I think to be positive, we have to thank God for, like the Bible says it, in all circumstances, give thanks, right?
Give thanks to God, yeah.
Exactly. Now it's hard. We're seeing people dying every day. We're seeing people crying every day. It's a bad situation. But as bad as it is, there's also a good part. We're spending time with families. We can't see some of the family members now. People have even they're learning how to use technology now. Like people are far away. They were struggling in how can I get to Clara? They just go like, FaceTime, or let me call, video call, WhatsApp, or whatever. They'll see you. But then it was like, oh, I just have to travel to North Carolina and see Clara, and I don't have time now. But now you don't have to travel. You can just utilize what you have, the video calls and all that.
Like what we're doing right now.
Like what we're doing right now. So I would say we thank God because we're spending more time. People are spending more time with families. So people shouldn't be taking that as a curse, that their partner is making them frustrated all the time.
That's true.
It should be a blessing. It should be something to embrace more love between couples while spending time together.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so many yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say so many people sent in the same kind of message, like how they're getting tired of each other, like they just don't know how to do anymore. And I like the fact that you already tackled that. You already said we have to go back to the roots. That sparkle, what made you fall in love with your friend. Keep it that way. Just get reminded. Remind yourself what drew you guys together, and then make it work.
Wow.
Yeah. I just want to encourage all couples here, to know that things that we should always do, especially for like minority couples, and then Africans, right? Most of the time it's not ingrained in our DNA to do a lot of planning, like financial planning. Note that the number one cause of divorce in America is finances, right? So it doesn't have to be a crisis. What happened during crisis, it exposes weakness, or things that you don't plan for, right? In anything, when you don't plan, when emergency or anything happens, now it becomes chaotic, and then you have to struggle to get back on your feet. So we should always use these times, use all our stumbling blocks as stepping stones. We should learn how to start saving. Even if you start saving $5, $10, $10, $20, whatever a month, if you have a habit of eating out or buying expensive clothes or jewelry or food or whatever, sometimes you have to compromise. Hey, if we're buying milk, that's good. The one that said lactate for $4, we could drink regular milk temporarily. If we're paying $4, let's buy the one for $2 and that extra money. Those simple things, right? We should do it. Life insurance, financial planning, all those things. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes we pay car insurance for like $250 a month or $150. Where's some of those simple financial planning? If you really do it, $17, $20, $50. Let's take away the mindset that $50 is too much money, but yet you pay car insurance or like phone bill, you have to pay that you're going to pay. Those things are very healthy thing as couple. When you start doing those things and start planning and then compromising. The last thing I also wanted to say, I know we've been talking about, it's chaotic during COVID. Let's try to make it work. Or how can you make it work? But the thing for people to know out there is that also there's a lot of abuse that's been going on during this COVID crisis. As much as COVID has been a blessing to put couples together now, where wives can see their husbands more often, they're in the same household. Know that before COVID, there were people who were in a lot of abusive relationship.
Yes.
And now with COVID, they have been forced to live together.
Yeah.
Even there were kids who were abused before COVID.
Yeah.
Now with COVID, those kids are now in a household where there's more abuse that's going on. So we have to pray for those people whose situation with COVID, they're in the same household, has been exacerbated and it's even worse. It's horrible and it's terrible. Now that's a problem, right? So for some of us who are complaining about, oh, I'm tired of seeing you, this and that, imagine your situation is not as grave as those people who were going through actual physical abuse before COVID, and now it's even more worse, right?
Yeah.
Now it's worse now that they're in the same household. So we always have to pray for those people because there's worse abuse going on with COVID that was going on prior. Imagine kids who didn't want to come home because they're afraid, oh, I'm going to that home where our father is abusive or the mother is abusive. Now that they're in that home 24/7, and now the abuse is kind of worse because of even more stress with the COVID in the situation. So for every situation that we think is bad for us, know that there's a worse situation out there. And for us who don't have that extreme situation, know that let's be very thankful and things that we can do to work our little situation out. Let us come together and just work our little situation out because there's even worse situation than what we think we currently have.
Wow.
Yes, that's very true. Wow.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's a very good
I'll
one.
do that too.
Wow.
That is very true. Thank you so much, guys. Wow. I can't really imagine that we've kept you for almost an hour.
I know, right?
Oh, man, it's been an hour already.
It's our pleasure. We enjoy your company.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is so good.
This
Thank
is
you
so
so much for
good.
your wisdom.
Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure. God.
And one more talent. This man can dance. I think.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure and honor to be on your show. It's a beautiful show. You're both beautiful couple. I can see the love, in both of your eyes. And the teamwork shit, it's always good. We always say, even if you find something, go back to that spark that engendered to continue why you first got in love and everything, and then getting into marriage, or always work with a couple to bring that kind of spark. It helps the little things, but we thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be in your show, and we're humbled by your gesture. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for the support.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome. God
You enjoy
bless
the rest
you
of the
guys.
day.
It was an hour already. Thank you for having us. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Take care.
Amazing.
Wow. What a beautiful couple.
What a beautiful couple. Guys, you heard it for yourself. That was Mr. and Mrs. Masquire.
Wow. I like one thing that he mentioned when he's talking about finances.
Yes.
You gotta look for something to do. You don't have to sit at home stressed out because you lost a job because of the COVID-19. There are a lot of things you can do these days, especially online. There are a lot of things you can do. All you gotta do, just get your phone, the same phone that you use to watch a lot of Facebook videos, whatever it is, Netflix movies, and the same phone can bring money into your pocket. Yeah. So you just gotta know where to go. So don't get stressed out because you lost your job. There are a lot of other things that you can do.
Yeah. That's very true. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Oh, you're very right, baby. Because the same phone can bring us money.
Exactly. The same phone can bring distraction. The same phone can bring the money.
Yeah.
Facebook, the same Facebook. Some people say Facebook is bad. Facebook is bad. Other people are using Facebook to make money.
Exactly. So, and to encourage people.
Yeah. So you don't have to run away. Okay, we're almost coming to the end of our show.
And thank you, everybody else. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I know.
We'll definitely catch up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Thank you, Nomsaya. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Jessica, Doreen, everybody that, Julie, everybody that got connected today. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
And don't forget to like this page and follow. Or if you are watching from YouTube, you can subscribe and click on the what?
The bell.
On the bell. There we go.
Dun, 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 dun. Thank you, Guido. And if you're watching from Facebook, of course, like the page. And we'll see you next week.
And if you didn't tell your spouse how much you love them yet, go ahead and do it right now.
Yes.
It's not too late. You can still do it. Put that smile on their face. Just tell them that you love them for no reason. Just go, oh, baby, I love you. Mm-hmm. You mean a lot to me. I love you so much. That will make me a day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, ciao.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Natasha.
Mm-hmm.